discussion. Thank you for everybody that joined the table and shared their opinion with us in the group. I will. And one of the first things that we came up with is one of the technical approach, which also technical problem, which I also heard with other groups. How do you deal with different technology, working together with IT, getting performance out of your system? And I think that's a very important subject to take care of or to think about if you start working on twins. So that's something that also came about in our discussions. A second very important one is the data accuracy. So if you put data into your digital twin, what does it say? Is it safe to use? Is it clear to use? Is it legal to use, as we just heard? So it's one of those things that you really need to take care of and to think about. And we also had a more perhaps philosophical discussion about that. What needs to be there first? Is it the digital twin, or is it your data in a proper way? And we didn't come up with the answer yet, but we thought about it as a chicken and an egg. Very nice to think about as well. And then a physical twin, as you already mentioned before the roundtable started, is not only a physical model, but also a model that incorporates data from sensors or other processes. How do you deal with that? Our session at Waternet, we are really strong in creating a physical digital twin. But what about the sensors? What do you want to do with that? Which group of people needs which data? So there was also a good discussion that came up. And lastly, a digital twin can also be seen already, perhaps a little bit as a trophy of your company. You can sit behind your desk and really see what kind of assets your company operates or maintains physically, but also perhaps what they are doing. So also don't forget that that's a very strong part of your digital twin. Show also your management, show your other people that you have this data together in a new collection to make new decisions on. And lastly, also mentioned by a lot of you already, is you need to train people to use your digital twin and how to interact with that. A 3D model is not easily. You need to learn how to use that. So don't forget to get to your business and really use the digital twin. So that was our discussion. Thank you.
The other companies, how far they are with their digital twins. Everybody's busy building one, and how they do it. If it is together with ICT, if it's just ICT, if it's just a business, how do you do this? I was curious because we have 3 digital twins within Vitens. We have a digital twin for the production plants, and then based on the quality, we call it SLIM. And we start building this with some smart kids in our technology center, a little bit without ICT. And then when it was ready, we thought, well, ICT, here you are, we want to have this. And then they said, well, you cannot do it like the way you discovered. There are rules, you have the ICT architecture, there's security issues. And now we are building a digital twin distribution and do it really together with ICT, and it works much better. And Frank de Kleij said very beautiful at the end, well, it is key who is owner of the digital twin and who's responsible for it. And maybe it's not just ICT or just the business, because within Vitens, for example, the business is responsible for the sensors, and ICT should be responsible for the data and the collection of the data and maintaining the digital twin. We talked also about lots of other things besides this subject. We thought we talked about the operators. That for now we have lots of experienced operators who know, who can see what a sensor means without a digital twin, but they are retiring in a couple of years. So then we really need a digital twin for the new generation of our employees. We talked about data quality, because data quality is key for a good digital twin. smart meters and the GDPRs that involved in smart meters. We talked about integration of systems, GIS, historians, etc., interface with different digital twins, and also the ambition, because now we have, within Vitens, we have 3 different digital twins who all operate separately, and it would be very nice to integrate them. So in the future, we might have one digital twin from the well to the tap, and in other companies maybe even into the sewer system. I guess this is sort of what we talked about in an hour.
Canal de Isabel II in the RDI department from almost 4 years. We've talked about digital twins, the different advantages, the barriers, we've talked about the strategy to implement BIM methodology in a company, and I highlight that it's difficult if you don't have employees who know the methodology. So it's like a cultural change before you implement BIM or develop a BIM implementation plan in your company. And other things we talked about was the advantages and barriers, and some advantages I've collect was being able to gather information of different sources in the same cloud platform, centralized information, being able to see everything in a 3D environment. It could be very useful for operators and plants. Optimize processes doing simulations in digital twins and using artificial intelligence algorithms to analyze data. It could be minimize risk, time, cost, so it could be very useful too. You can shorter decision-making times due to the display of real-time sensor values in the digital twin. Some barriers I talk about too, because not everything is fantastic. In our experience, the difficulty of connection, the SCADA system and maintenance app to the digital twin. You have specialized employees to do that because it is an easy task. IT security and firewalls, because you have to gather all your information and collect it in a cloud, outside your server. So if you have IT security in your company, it could be a barrier too. Difficulty in gathering all the information of plug equipments and assets like PDF, paper. If you can find something, if you have everything in a digital twin, it's better. It's totally better. That's all.
The whole of Flanders. So indeed, we talked about unpacking a utility digital twins roadmap and questioning and viewing multiple truths. Actually, the reason for that topic was that if you start discussing about digital twins, you get a lot of answers, a lot of different answers, and probably there's not one that's really specific for your case. So it really depends on what you want to work on, what your goals are, and to fill in the answers that you're getting. And actually, that was one of the first things that we discussed about, is that it's really important to set your goal. Why do you want to use your digital twin? Why do you need it for? Where do you see the business for it? And that's going to determine all the rest of your digital twin. The complexity that you put in your models, the data that you need to collect, and so on. So, I'm looking at my notes that I took. My writing is worse than my doctor's writing, but I think it's one of the components that you need in your digital twin is that it has to capture the behavior of your system. so that you can get knowledge in there and out of there. So we talked a lot also that it's a combination of data and processes, so it's important to have both of them there, and that processes, the description of the processes, that can be either first principle models or artificial intelligence or machine learning models. Okay. We also talked about the fact that a digital twin can evolve over the life cycle of your assets. So, depending on whether you're in a construction phase, design phase, or your operation phase, your digital twin is going to evolve, and it can move along through that life cycle of your assets to learn or evolve with the life cycle of the assets. And trying to read that again, one of the nice quotes I liked was about that one of the benefits of the digital twin is that we got finally operators talking to modelers. And we never thought that would happen. Okay, thank you.